Hey guys, Donald here. Now, I don't know about you guys, but it is hot right now. The weather is, it is sticky, it's hot. But the story we've got for you guys this week is about some guys who they got themselves into a very hot situation. You see, our theme this term is in wonder. We're looking at the wonder of God. And where we find these three guys is in another land. See, the people of Israel, they constantly kept forgetting God and following other gods. And it got to a point where God was like, guys, I've got to let you face your consequences. And then another army came in, the Babylonians, and marched everyone off to captivity. All the wealthy people and the real smart people. And anyone who was a noble, their kids were taken to Babylon. And over there, they trained them how to be scribes, how to be wise men, how to know things, and teach them their language. Now, four guys, they kind of set themselves up above the rest. Their names were Daniel, and there's another story about him, and that's for another time. But there was Shadrach, Meshack, and Abednego. Weird names, I know, but that's just what they called their kids back then. So they were marched off for days and days and days. They had to walk all the way to Babylon. It was a long, long journey. And eventually they got there. And after a few things happened, they said, we're going to follow God. We are the people of God. And even if the people forgot that, we're going to follow him and always keep his commands. They then found that the king would listen to their advice. But the thing about the King Nebuchadnezzar was his name, people used to call him King Neb, is he was a little bit self-obsessed. But by that, he would stand and go, I am amazing. And other people remember, oh yeah, King Neb, you're amazing. You're the dude. You're the dude of dudes. And he started to believe this. You're amazing. No one can stand against you. In fact, you're like a god. Everyone should worship you. He's like, yeah, that's right. I am. I know. Ah. So he had a giant statue made of gold built up. And the rules were everyone has to bow down and worship him. And the Shadrach, Meshack, and Abednego were like, yeah, no, we're not doing that. And so at this particular time, they're like, dong, everyone had to bow down as they walked past, or bow down and worship. Oh, but Nebuchadnezzar, you're a god, we love you. People are just like, oh yeah, I don't believe it, I'm going to do it anyway. Oh. And Shadrach and Meshack and Abednego were like, yeah, nah. And well, some of the people didn't like Shadrach, Meshack, and Abednego. So they walked up to the king. King. What is it? Don't touch your God. I've been working out. There's three of your people, your wise men, three guys, and they're not bowing down. They won't worship you, king. What? Who is it? Well, it's Shadrach, Meshack, and Abednego. Shadrach, Meshack, and Abednego? Yeah, Shadrach, Meshack, and Abednego. They won't bow down to your statue or to you. I'm sure it's a misunderstanding. They're very, very good wise men. Yeah, but they're not bowing down to you, king. I better have a chat. So he brought them before them and said, guys, I believe there's a bit of a misunderstanding. See, I hear you're not bowing before me. We know that. I'm sure it's just a technicality. You'll be okay. Just know that I'm God. Bow before me now and we'll wipe it off. And they looked at each other like, oh, sorry, king. No can do. What? No. What? I am the most amazing king ever. I am so amazing. I am a god. They're like, yeah, nah. And Abednego said, oh, look, king, sorry, you're a great king. We actually really love you. But we're Israelites. And because we're Israelites, we know that there's only one God. And we can't worship anyone else. Soz. Soz? What? he got so angry, you could see the veins popping in his head. Wow, 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 wow. You think I'm not a god? Like steam coming off his head. Take them to the furnace and throw them in. Get it hot, and I mean hot. I want to be able to cook a pizza from 20 metres away. Right you are, King. So they marched, the three of them, right down towards it, and they got the furnace hot. And it was like a brick furnace. That's how they make bricks, and it's got to get super, super duper hot. It was so hot they had to try and throw the wood in. They could see the furnace glowing, the bricks on the outside glowing hot. And the king said, last chance, Shadrach, Meshack, and Abednego. I trust your advice, but on this you are wrong. Bow before me, and I will be kind, I will be honourable, and I will forgive this small indiscretion of yours. But you've just got to bow before me now. See, he thought once they saw it, they'd go, that's hot. I don't want to die. Of course I'm going to bow to you, King. And off they'd go. But they looked at him and said, King, you're an awesome king, and we respect you. But on this, you're wrong. And we only follow the one true God. I'm sorry, we can't do it. And we won't. It's just not right. He got even angrier. Make it hotter! He looked at them and said, so who do you think's more powerful now? Your God or me, who's about to have you thrown into the furnace? They looked at each other, sweat pouring down. Not because they were worried, because that furnace was hot. And he looked at them and he looked at the king and said, King, our God is the one true God, and I believe he is going to save us. But just know that even if he doesn't, King, we will never bow down to another God. We follow the one true God who's powerful enough to rescue us. But even if he doesn't, we know he's faithful to us. Throw them in! Get them all the way in. The king was furious. Two guards, they came up with the three of them, one of them doing ha-ha, and he kicked one of them, and the other one pushed them, and they came up with one, and they threw Shadrach in. And all three, Shadrach, Abednego, and Meshack, they were in the middle of the fire. And then when they hit the flames exploded out, and the two guards, they were killed. It was too hot. No one, you could like roast a marshmallow at like 60 meters. It was so hot. And the king was there. Well, that's the end of that. Let this be an example to you all, not to mess with King Nebuchadnezzar. Do you see that they thought I wasn't a god, but I'm more powerful than their god? Do you see? What are you looking at? Like, well, seriously, why did you look at me? You see, all the guards and the officials around him weren't looking at the king like, oh yeah, king, yeah. They were looking like, what what? The king saw it. He goes,
1, 2, 3, 4.
You see, they were all looking in the door of the furnace, and there, instead of seeing three guys going, oh, it's a hot, oh, whoo, ha, there were three of them going, ha, 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 stay alive, dancing away, dancing away. But what even was more worse statement was there were four of them. And this one, the Bible said, was shining like the Son of God. Flames himself was bright. And they were having a great old chat, high-fiving, dancing. And the king kind of came up and went, Shadrach, Meshack, and Abednego. He kind of got as close as he could. He couldn't get too close because it was so hot. But I kind of thinking I might have been wrong. They looked at it, yep, we figured that, king. Do you want to come back out? flames so bright. Hi, yep, hang on. Catch you later, mate. See you next time. Yeah. Awesome. High five. Fourth person vanished. Now, three of them walked. And the king could step back and eventually came before him. Hey, king. He looked at Shadrach.
What? I don't know.
Yeah. Look, we told you, king. God would rescue us. But even if he didn't, we'd still serve him. He knows that. He loves us. So we're only going to follow the one true God. And the king, he turned to his officials. Okay. Let me just say that I think we need to talk to this guy's God because Shadrach, Meshack, and Abednego's God seems to be a little bit more powerful than a gold statue. No kidding. And that was the story of Shadrach, Meshack, and Abednego. You see, they carried on stature. They carried on being the king's advisors for ages, and they gave him good advice. But they always, at all times, were in wonder of God. And you see, they didn't even have any scorched hair. Their clothes were totally fine. They didn't even smell of smoke. I don't know about you, but if you've been around like a smoky fire, whoo! But they followed God because they were in wonder of his love, his forgiveness, and the fact that he made a promise and God never, ever forgets his promises. But they're in his time, not ours. We'll catch you guys later.